Hi, I'm Mike from Craft Supplies USA, and today we've got an exciting video announcement for you. We are covering this new product here. This is the Artisan Heavy Duty Sanding Disc Holder, and I've been using this for a long time, and this is hands down, without a doubt, my favorite disc holder that I've ever used. In this video, we're going to cover how to power sand, how to set up and assemble your disc holder, why it's better than the other disc holders on the market, and we'll show you that at the lathe as well. So before we get started, let's talk about the disc holder when you buy it. When you get this, it's going to come as two pieces. Let's go ahead and open this guy up here. It's going to come in this little baggie, and you're going to have the disc holder itself be one piece, and then the threaded stud is going to be separate. And before we start using this, the first thing we need to do is set the threaded stud into the body of the disc holder. And what you're going to need is just a little bit of thread locking compound. We'll throw some on the screw threads. And I haven't needed it on the ones I've been using. I've just tightened it on there really tight by hand, and I've forward and reverse sanded and it hasn't unscrewed. But just as an added safety measure, we're just gonna throw some thread locker on this. So get yourself some thread locking compound. You can go with the permanent or the medium, the blue, that's kind of a temporary thread locker. And we'll just tighten that in there by hand, and then get yourself just a small little crescent wrench, and we'll tighten this guy up. You can throw it in your drill chuck or your sanding drill and tighten it down once it's in the collar anyway, but we'll just tighten that up and snug it down, and that's going to be ready to use. But what separates this apart from a lot of the other disc holders on the market is going to be the foam. The foam is really what makes or breaks a really good disc holder. A lot of them on the market are a two-piece, which over time the glue between those two different types of foam break down and separate over time. You know, a lot of disc holders, the foam's either too hard or too soft, and you have to use a bunch of interface pads to get the right amount of stiffness in your disc holder that you want. This one has been my favorite, hands down. This is a really cool thermoset polyurethane foam, and it's a single or a closed cell foam. And the nice thing is, it's just stiff enough to maintain shape, but it's also soft enough to get inside corners, you know, your undercut rims, whatever shape you have on a rim of your bowl or your platter. It's a really good, kind of an all-around perfect density of foam for power sanding on your lathe. And if you haven't power sanding, turning bowls, platters, bigger projects like that, that's really the thing you need to start doing if you haven't already yet. But the great thing about these two is they're fairly inexpensive. These are a lot cheaper than other disc holders on the market, and they outperform them by a large margin. So now that we've talked about the disc holder itself, it is a hook and loop, obviously. Let's throw this piece on the lathe. We'll show you a little bit of power sanding tips and tricks now that we have a good disc holder. Show you some of the things that I do to get a really good finish on my pieces while I'm power sanding. And there's a lot of things to look out for too. You can easily over sand a piece to where you've sanded away a lot of the soft areas between the grain, especially on pieces like ash, or you're sanding too fast and you're gonna burn out your disc holder. A lot of little things to cover, but let's get the lathe set up and we'll show you some tips and tricks. All right, so we're at the lathe. We've got our equipment set up to do some power sanding. Let's just go over what we've got to sand here. We've got about an 8.5 inch piece of box elder. I've got a really clean surface off here off a negative rake scraper after I got my shape, but we are gonna sand it, and we're gonna start sanding with that 180 grit. Got a clean enough surface here. I don't have to sand out any tear out, so 180 is gonna be a great place to start. And I'll be sanding with the Artisan sanding screens. I generally like these over a lot of the other discs out there because I can clean these out, blow them out with my air compressor, especially when I wet sand with oil. So as far as that goes, that's going to be our piece for sanding. And we'll be using the 2-inch disc holder here. If we use the 3-inch right now, this is just big enough to not be able to make that curve with this heavy undercut on the closer to the rim there. You can see we're not going to be able to get where we need to with a 3-inch. I generally use the 3-inch mostly for bigger pieces, flatter pieces like platters and things like that, but the 2-inch is going to be the one I use the most often. I've just got this in a regular power drill here, a corded one. The biggest thing with that is just making sure you blow this out after you power sand. That way all that dust doesn't kill these too prematurely. In our classes, we go through a lot of these drills just because of the amount of use they get, but make sure you blow them out, take care of your equipment. And I'll be wearing a dust mask for most of the power sanding parts. We'll stop and talk, and I'll remove the mask so you can hear me. But power sanding creates a lot of dust. That's why generally I like to power sand with oil, just to keep the dust down, and it helps me get a really smooth finish as well. So we've got our eye protection, dust protection on. As far as sanding speed goes, this drill I've got here, this is I can go really slow with it, and it all depends on how far I pull the trigger, or it can go really, really fast. And what kills your sanding discs and your disc holders is gonna be the heat. We wanna keep the heat to a minimum, so I'll be keeping this, you know, probably 100 to 200 RPM on my drill, and then my lathe speed for a piece like this is gonna be roughly 400 to 500 RPM. We wanna make sure that we keep our RPM down. If I try to sand this at 1500 RPM, that, you know, the speed I turned when I was using my negative rake scraper, 1500, I'm gonna melt all of the hook on my holder here. You can have your disc holders disintegrate, you're gonna kill your sandpaper, and this is honestly one of the most expensive pieces in turning, because we go through so much sandpaper. It's definitely a consumable item. So we wanna make sure we maintain the life of our sandpaper, as well as we don't wanna heat check the piece. So we're gonna start sanding this about 400 RPM, and there's a couple things to talk about when we're sanding as well. When we're sanding on the exterior of the bowl, we wanna sand on the lower half of the disc, and I'm gonna keep this down at my hip and keep the drill up. That way we're sanding on the lower half of the disc. If we start sanding on the top edge of the disc like this, it's gonna catch the edge of the paper and throw it off, and then you're gonna be hitting your wood with these little hooks here, and that's gonna melt those, and they're no longer gonna hold your paper very well. So we always wanna sand on the lower half of the disc like this on the exterior, and then on the interior, we're gonna be sanding from center towards the outside of the rim away from you. So we'll be starting here, working towards the rim, and then working back and forth, and just trying to make sure we keep even pressure and we're not pushing too hard in any one area. And that's really why I like these disc holders. They've got a nice softness, nice squish to them. That way they don't create hard ridges and edges and little marks in my piece. If you have a disc holder that's too stiff, too rigid, as we sand across, we're gonna hit this lead edge here, and we're gonna create a nice little cut in the side of our bowl rim there. So make sure you get a really good disc holder like this, and then we're gonna be sanding on this basically from the center to the top, because this side of the piece is gonna be coming up, so we're gonna be sanding on that side as we go back and forth. So that's gonna be what we're gonna do here. So let's get our mask on, we'll get this piece on, and we'll start sanding. So that's sanding the exterior of the bowl here. We've got a really good finish. You can see the sandpaper scratches. We'll sand those out with the next finer grit. But if we take a look at the disc holder, you can see how that Abernet, that sanding screen, is all clogged up. The great thing is if you have a compressor, you can blow that out, or you can pull it off the disc holder itself, flick it, blow it out, and then this thing is gonna be just like a fresh disc. That's why I really like these. I also keep this wire brush in my pocket all the time so I can brush off my sanding discs, especially when I'm sanding with oil, or if I put some paste wax on there to get a clean cut right before I started sanding. That stuff clogs up your paper, so it's nice to have a little brush to keep those discs nice and fresh. Another thing too I didn't mention before is the rotation of my drill is gonna be opposite of whatever rotation of the piece is. So if I'm sanding the interior of the bowl, this piece is coming up, I want my drill to be sanding clockwise, so it's coming down up against the piece coming up. And then if you're sanding this side and the piece is coming towards you, we want to sand also same thing, so we'll be sanding on this side of the disc so the disc is spinning up into the grain that's coming down. So now let's sand the inside of the bowl. And as I'm sanding here in this undercut rim, you can see how that disc holder is conforming just to the shape that I've put on there with the tool. And it's allowing me to get that curve and sand in there, because that's a pretty severe undercut that I have on this. I really like to undercut my bowls a lot. So being able to have a disc holder that conforms to that shape well is a really big thing, because I don't want to over sand and then soften this inside edge of the rim way too much and round it over. I want to keep that nice and crisp, and having that conform to that shape helps me maintain that crispness. We also don't want to over sand in the center, because if you go right to center, you're sanding on the up and down stroke of the bowl as it's spinning, so you're basically double sanding it, and it's really easy to have a small little divot right in the center from your sandpaper. So, got a really good surface on there. Let's move on to the next grit. Actually, we got to do the rim still. Let's sand the rim of our piece, and then we'll just work through the grits real quick, and then once we get this sanded, we'll start talking and get back on camera here. All right, so now that we're done sanding, we can take off our safety glasses and our mask. Obviously, make sure you wear those. But really happy with the surface here. Got a nice, clean surface, no deep scratches from those super coarse previous grits that we used. And we've got a nice conformed surface, nice smooth surface with that undercut rim all the way down to center. And that's the biggest thing when you have a good disc holder. It allows you to conform to the shape of your piece rather than trying to make your shape conform to the disc holder itself. So I highly recommend you guys pick these up. This is what I use every day when I power sand, and for the price, you can't beat it. But we plan on doing an in-depth video on power sanding, wet sanding, all the different tips and tricks. We're gonna go a lot more in-depth on power sanding, but if you wanna see that video, you gotta go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Also, hit the notification bell. That way, every time we have a new video, you get a notification saying that we have one out. That way you stay up to date with the latest and greatest in turning. So, if you have any questions, comments, anything you want to ask me about these or anything turning related, go ahead and leave it down in the comment section. But as always, if you want to see more wood turning videos, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel.